Hello everyone, this is Devasri. Welcome to the journey of literature. Friends, hope you all are fine at your own stage. So, today I'm going to talk about the Canterbury Tales. Basically, the basics on Canterbury Tales that we have most to know it. So my point is on that how the language become important, especially the English language I'm talking about, and how the people want their own language, their own national identity, and their own literature. How the ideas of Canterbury Tales introduced, and what was the reason that Geoffrey Chaucer wrote the Canterbury Tales at that time. So, without wasting too much time, let's start our topic that the basics of Canterbury Tales. To we discuss the basics of Canterbury Tales, one thing strike in our mind first of all that the Norman Conquest. Norman Conquest happens in 1066, got it. Also known as the Battle of Hastings, So the two important figures in this conquest is William the Conqueror and Harold Godwinson. So, for your better understanding, I provide a picture on your screen that the location of the major events during the Norman conquest of the England in 1066. So, look at it. And the point is now, in 14th October at the Battle of Hastings, William defeats Harold. So, after this conquest, they become defenseless, remove his helmet, and technically one arrow was shot in his eyes and he dies. So, after these situations, the Anglo-Normans and the Anglo-Saxons were stronger tribes, and they removed all the minor tribes like the White Kings, Scandinavians, the robbers, all they are fast. So now the point to focus in 1348 called the Black Death, one of the most greatest disaster in the literature. Black Death is a huge deadliest pandemic recorded in human history, or we can say such a tremendous unfortunate condition at that time. The disease was called the bubonic plague, and peak in the Europe and part of Africa somewhere that if I'm not wrong, I think it's a part of Africa in 1347 to 1351. So now the questions are why it's called the greatest disaster in literature, because once the population dies, people started doubt on religious performance. They were like why the people doing the Jew have purchased pardon. There is a system that you can buy pardon. So suppose you go to church to speak about your mistake, that you commit a mistake to kill someone or kill some people. So you just speak about your crime that I killed 2 people, they first shoot $2. I kill 12 people, they first shoot $12. If you have killed the 7 people, they first shoot $7. So basically it means they had some kinds of wealth money fixed for your crimes. If you pay the particular amounts for your crime, the amount was paid to the church. Then the church would say that you are totally free from your guilt, that whatever you commit any mistakes, you free from the sins, you will go to have it. So apart from these systems, if we notice to the condition of Black Death, that Pope and bishops also the part of this Black Death, because they have no idea that if you touch the body, then we can also the part of this pandemic situations also. So they didn't understand the epidemic of the contagious faithfuls also. In short, for the first time people started doubt on religions. So this was the reason of Lollard's moment. What was the Lollard's moment? Let me explain in shortly for your understanding that Lollard's moment. Lollardy was known as the Lollardism. Lollardism or Lollard movement was a pre-Protestant Christian religious movement that exists from the mid 14th century to 16th century English Reformation. So the figure was strike in your mind that John Wycliffe, a Roman Catholic theologian who actually causing awareness against the church authorities of force. And the second figure on the last movement is John Forbes, was also a reformer and theologian also, and disciple of the Wycliffe. So now the point is social equality. Black Death not only questions the religion, but it also gives to enough chance to have the social equality. Whenever there is an epidemic, the most vulnerable class is called the labor class. So in a pandemic situation, not only a pandemic but also in every difficulties conditions, the labor classes, the Jews suffer so many difficulties. So hope you understand my point, because now the present time that same situations going on, a pandemic condition that called COVID-19 whatever, when the labor classes complete in England, then the remaining labor classes they went for the prize. What was happening at that time, they first time allowed to the palace for the such types of works toward the works of duty towards the king, and to see the castle and to understand the kingship. And the most interesting thing that they do that started to demanding equality. Obviously as a human we all are right to equality, so technically they want the social equality. So in this way, with the Black Death, they are having the regular wars between England and France was for 100 years, that primarily known as the 100-year wars, started from 1337 to 1453. It's just like 100 plus years. Now an interesting question strikes everyone's mind, that it's 100 plus years, then why we call it's the 100 years wars? So they would have some treaty, 5-month treaty, 1-year treaty, 6-month treaty, like this. Then they fight back, and so approximately went for 100 years. So it's called the 100 years wars only. So in this war, England defeated France in 3 times. Number 1, Battle of Crecy, 1346. Number 2, Battle of Poitiers, 1356. And the last one is Battle of Agincourt, 1415. So the complete scenery was changed in the time of first and second battle in 1346 and 1356, that they inspired to the English people to have their own language, own national identity, own literatures also. So even there was Anglos, Saxons, Normans, Spanish, Scandinavians, but when they fought against French, they all become English. Let me explain this statement, that how it's possible. We can take an example in our Indian cricket team. When India played against another country, that USA, France, Brazil, Sri Lanka, whatever you say, so there are lots of people who belongs from different states, but when they played, they only said that we all are Indians. So exactly happens here. There are so many Anglos, Saxons, Normans, Spanish, Scandinavians, but when they fought against the French, they all becomes English. So if we think technically this 100 years wars helps them to England to develop their national identity as a nation. Now what happens here, once they started develop their concept of English language, they started demanding a language of their own. And this was the reason that Geoffrey Chaucer during 1370 to 1380 started working on English literature. So this was the reason that the English language developed by Chaucer. So in 1388, Middle English Tales of Canterbury was written, that a collection of 24 stories. Chaucer wrote it after French and Italian. So in 1372, French language was the old language, that a language of aristocracy class superiority, and the language of supreme class. So initially Chaucer wrote in French because he got inspired from read few books or some famous writers only. In 1372 to 1384 there was a diplomatic tour of Italy when Chaucer got inspired by Dante, Boccaccio's Decameron and Petrarch and wrote in Italy. In 1388, that he switched to English, first work, The Canterbury Tales, in English literature. So, to discuss the point on Canterbury Tales, many of you have read, even I am also. We all have read the prologue to the Canterbury Tales in our course. That what do you mean by prologue? Prologue means a preface that used in prose version and prologue used in poetry version. It is introduced the characters only. In prologue to the tale, to the Canterbury Tales actually introduce the characters only, and the Canterbury Tales speak the complete story. Narration, character, stories, all of these things in the Canterbury Tales, and the prologue to the Canterbury Tales is actually introduced the characters only. So, in 1388, Canterbury Tales by Chaucer is actually written in a format of travelogue. So now the point is there are lots of people who traveling London to Canterbury to visit the shrine of Saint Thomas Becket at Canterbury Cathedrals. The place actually based on the life and death. So basically the journey was started in the month of April. Why the people waiting for each other in the way? Chaucer mentioned it that because it was not safe to travel alone. However, robbery was very frequent. Traveling to distance was not safe, by which the pilgrims were waiting for each other. So when they returning, and they staying at a restroom called Tower Inn, that hosted by Harry Valley, one who suggests the idea to make the journey more interesting, that every person tells 4 tales, to while going to the journey and to while returning. So the plan is if there is 30 pilgrims or the 31 pilgrims, all at the tell 4 stories. So technical in Chaucer's point of view, there are totally 120 stories. So we have 31 pilgrims, but we have 29 pure pilgrims. If we added Harry Vallis as a host because he also a part of this journey, and Chaucer as a narrator and observer added, so technically we have 31 pilgrims, but when you insert it in your answer paper, write just 30 pilgrims because he was one who observed. It's also to be noticed that Chaucer also speak 2 tales in Canterbury Tales, so he also a part of this journey as a character. So as we know in Chaucer's point of view, there are totally 120 stories, but now must remember there are 24 complete stories by 23 characters. How it's possible? I will discuss it in my upcoming talk. So in this way, Harry Valley let's draw the LUTs, means literary systems, that is started to find out the first storyteller, and in this way they found the knight as a first storyteller. Yes, and the one another thing that makes you remember that the first line in Canterbury Tales and also the English literature, April is the month of showers. So T.S. Eliot, one who take these references and used it in his famous work called Burstland, April is the coolest month to sowing the paths. So now it's time to remind the point on our discussion that the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, written in 1388 and published in 1400, unfinished at Chaucer's death, and the tale set in 14th century Kingdom of England, that shows the social condition of the contemporary society. And the journey was started in the month of April. And where they travel? The pilgrims will travel London to Canterbury to visit the shrine of Saint Thomas Becket at Canterbury Cathedrals. So how many stories in there? 24 complete stories in the Canterbury Tales. How many storytellers in there? 23 storytellers in Canterbury Tales. Who told 2 stories? Chaucer told two stories. Who offers the idea of tale? It was Harry Valley. And what was the first line of Canterbury Tales? April is the month of showers. So I stop here in my first talk on Canterbury Tales. Apart from this talk, I have lots of things want to share with you in my upcoming talk. So I hope that the video will be helpful for you. If you have any objections on it, then please put it in the comment section. So God bless you. Thank you.